Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Ram Hare Hare
Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Janvallabha Jaya Girivardhari
Jai Radha Madhava Jayo Kunja Vihari Jayo Gopi Janvallabha Girivardhari
Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Janvallabha Girivardhari
Jayo Radha Madhava Jayo Kunja Vihari Jayo Gopi Janvallabha Jayo Girivardhari
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare Krishna. So very warm welcome to all of you. For today's session on the Srimad Bhagavatam, we'll start our session with the prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naran Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So we discussed in our previous session about Mahat Tattvat Vikurvanat. Lord Krishna or the Supreme Lord Narayan, how he agitates the Mahat Tattva. Vikurvanat means agitation. So he agitates the Mahat Tattva and how the transformations takes place. And we discussed about false ego. Because in this material world, there is false ego. And we discussed that what is false ego. So false ego is basically the misidentification or wrong identification of a living entity where he starts to identify with matter or this material body. Now today we'll begin our discussion with text 25, Shloka number 25 of the 26th chapter of the 3rd Canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Sahasrashira samshakshad yamanantam prachakshate sankarshanakhyam purusham bhutendriya manomayam सहस्रशिरसं साक्षाद् यमनन्तं प्रचक्षते संकर्षणाख्यं पुरुषं भूतेन्द्रियमनोमयम्. Translation: the threefold Ahankar, the source of the gross elements, the senses and the mind, is hence identical with them. But it is their cause. Because it is their cause, it is known by the name of Sankarshan, who is directly Lord Ananta with 1,000 heads. Now you see. So, in this shloka, it is mentioned that Sahasra Sirasham Sakshat Anantam Prachakshate. So, Lord Ananta, who is also known as Sankarshan. So, as you know, there are so many expansions of Krishna because we discussed in one of our sessions that how Lord Krishna, he expands himself. So his first expansion is Lord Balram. Then from Lord Balram, there are quadruple expansions. Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. So this Lord Sankarshan, he expands himself as Narayan. And then Lord Narayan expands himself as Mahavishnu. And Lord Mahavishnu is in charge, or he is the Lord of the whole creation. This whole material creation is because of him. And his transformation is Lord Shiva. Lord Mahavishnu's transformation is Lord Shiva. And we discussed that how this all expansion happens. And the Lord Sankarshan, who expanded into Lord Narayan, he also expands himself in this material world as Ananta. Now, who is Ananta? So, Lord Ananta, or he is also called Anant Shesh, he is also called as Sankarshan. So, in Sanskrit, there is a word called Gurutva Akarshan. Modern scientists, they say that Akarshan or gravitation, the name that they use is gravitation. That heavy object pulls another object. And they have given the formula also, G m1 m2 by r square. That means gravitation is directly proportional to the mass. Okay. Now you see in Sanskrit, this word Gurutvakarsan is there since many millions of years. Scientists have found out some few years back, but in Gurutvakarsan, exactly the same thing is there. The word Gurutvakarsan means that attraction between objects is because of their Gurutva. Gurutva means heaviness, because of their mass. So, Gurutvakarsan means attraction because of heaviness. That Gurutvakarsan that we see in this material creation is because of Lord Sankarshan, who is also present in this world as Ananta. That's what is mentioned here, you see. Sahasra Shirasam Sakshad Yam Anantam Prachakshate. So Sahasra Shirasam. So Lord Ananta or Lord Sankarshan in this material world, he expands himself as Lord Ananta. And Lord Ananta, he has Anant. Why he is called Anant? Because this endless material creation, if you look up in the sky, you can just imagine how huge is this material creation. It's so huge. Almost it looks as if unlimited. So Anant means the unlimited proprietor of this whole creation. The unlimited expanse of this whole creation is because of Lord Ananta or Lord Sankarshan. So Lord Ananta is basically expansion of Lord Sankarshan. That is what is mentioned here. Sahasra Shirasam, and he has thousands and thousands of hoods. He is present in the form of a huge snake with many thousands and thousands and thousands of heads. And all the planetary systems are floating, all the universes are floating on the top of his hoods. Okay. All the universes are floating on the top of his hoods. And he is present in the form of a snake with thousands and thousands of hoods. So that's what is mentioned here. Sahasra Shirasam Sakshad Ayam Anantam Pratakshate. So there's thousands and thousands of heads which Lord Sankarshan bears or he possesses. He is known as Sakshad Anantam. He is known as Anantam. He is known as Anant Shesh. Sankarshanakyam Purusham. And his original expansion is Sankarshan. And Bhutendriya Manomayam. Bhut Indriya Manoyam. Bhut means this whole creation or living entity, all the living entities of the whole creation. Indriya Manomayam. He is the Lord of Indriya, the senses, and Manomaya means mind. So he is the Lord of all the senses and the mind. So that is Lord Ananta or Lord Sankarshan. Now, text 26, Shloka number 26. कर्तृत्वं कारणत्वं च कार्यत्वं चेति लक्षणम् शान्तघोरविमूढत्वम् इति वास्यादहङ्कृतेः कर्तृत्वं कारणत्वं च कार्यत्वं चेति लक्षणम् शान्तघोरविमूढत्वम् इति वास्यादहङ्कृतेः. Translation. This false ego is characterized as the doer, as an instrument and as an effect. It is further characterized as serene, active or dull according to how it is influenced by the modes of goodness, passion and ignorance. Now you see. So, we discussed in our previous sessions and in the previous shloka also that the first formation is of false ego. False ego means misidentification or wrong identification with matter or the body. And then all other senses and mind and intelligence and this whole body comes into picture. So here it is mentioned that kartritvam karanatvam. Kartritva means the doer or the person or the source of activity. Karanatva means the source or the cause. So the cause of the doership or the cause of the activity is karyatvam cheti lakshanam. Okay. So the characteristics of ego or the characteristics of false ego is that all the activities that we see in this whole universe is all taking place because of false ego. I'll give an example to substantiate this. When we forget ourselves during our sleep, when we sleep on our bed, we forget ourselves, isn't it? Now, when we forget ourselves, there is another world which is created in the dream. And in that world of dream, we identify with one of the character in the dream. Okay. So why we are able to identify with the character in the dream? Because of false ego. Okay. So false ego is the cause of the dream. The dream world is because of false ego. Because of our wrong identification, which is beyond what we are. Suppose if a person is there, he lives in any country, suppose in Mumbai in India, and he sleeps in Mumbai, okay, on his bed, and then when he sleeps, he forgot himself that he is a person from Mumbai. Suppose his name is Mr. Y, okay. So Mr. Y, he lives in Mumbai. So when he slept on his bed in Mumbai, he forgot that he is Mr. Y. Okay. And then when he was sleeping, in dream, a world was created in which he is in Delhi and his name is Mr. X. So this whole world of Delhi and he becoming Mr. X is because of false ego, misidentification or wrong identification. Because he forgot himself, he started identifying himself with the character in the dream, which was Mr. Y. And now he lives in Delhi, not in Mumbai. Right? But it is all illusion. There is no reality. Actually, he is in Mumbai, sleeping on his bed. But in dream, he has reached Delhi and he is Mr. Y. Okay. So in this way, this whole effect of identifying ourselves with a character in the dream is because of false ego, because of wrong identification with matter. Just like in a dream, we wrongly identify ourselves with a particular body. Similarly, in this material world also, it is exactly like that. As of now, we are identifying ourselves with a particular body and it keeps changing. In this life, we are identifying with the body of a human. Who knows, if a person takes birth as an animal in the next life, he may have to identify with that animal in the dream or in the next life. And like that, perpetually, so many lives or so many times a spirit soul is born into this material world again and again because of his material body. He keeps identifying himself in every life with different bodies, different kinds of bodies. So we are not material beings with spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings with material experience. So that experience that we have, which is material experience, is because of false ego. False ego is the root cause of this material existence. Our wrong identification with the body, matter, that is the root cause of this material existence. Okay. So that is what is mentioned here. You see, kartritvam karanatvam cha karyatvam cha iti lakshanam. So this whole world is moving because of false ego, because of wrong identification with matter, isn't it? Because a person is identifying himself with this human body, that's why he is working like a human. Okay. Then here it is mentioned, Shanta Ghor Vimurhatvam iti va syad ahankrite. Now this ahankar or this false ego gets influenced by the three modes, Sattva Guna, Rajoguna, Tamoguna. So when a person's false ego is influenced by Sattva Guna or mode of goodness, he acts like a person who is in mode of goodness. Just like a cow. Cow is an animal which is considered to be in mode of goodness. Material mode of goodness. Right? So till the spirit soul has got the body of a cow, it will act in the mode of goodness. That is why cow will never eat flesh. Cow will only eat grass. Why? Because the body of a cow is body in mode of goodness. And the ego of the cow is in mode of goodness. The false ego of the cow is in mode of goodness. But this goodness is material goodness, not spiritual goodness. Okay. So Shanta Ghor Vimudhatvam. So when the false ego is influenced by mode of goodness, it acts in peace or in serenity. Peacefulness, serenity, just like a cow. Peaceful animal, such a beautiful animal. The most gorgeous animal in the whole creation is the cow, mother cow. So that's why cows act in a peaceful way. They are very peaceful. They are gorgeous animals. Ghora. Now the cows that we see in this material world, they are a reflection. They are not exactly the cows which we see in the spiritual world. Of course, the body of a cow which we see in the material world is very similar to the body of a cow in the spiritual world. But in the material world, the cow has a material body. In the spiritual world also cows are there, but they have a spiritual body. Now, because material world is a perverted reflection of the spiritual world, so there also cows are there, all the species are there, and in this material world also all these things are there. What is there in the spiritual world? Its reflection is there in the material world. It means that the variegatedness that we see in the spiritual world is because of the variegatedness that we see in the spiritual world. Because matter follows spirit. Matter is because of spirit, isn't it? Matter cannot move on its own. A stone cannot start flying automatically, isn't it? The ability to see, the ability to hear, the ability to speak, it is because of the spirit soul, isn't it? So, whatever we see in matter is a reflection of spiritual constitution of the material creation. So, because this material creation is also created from the spiritual world, so whatever we see in this material world is a reflection of the spiritual world. So material world has cows, monkeys, everything. So in the spiritual world also they are there. The only difference is that in the spiritual world there is no time, so everything is eternal. Second thing is, in the spiritual world, there is nothing called as matter. Each and every atom in the spiritual world is Sat Chit Ananda. That means each and every atom in the spiritual world is conscious. In this material world, matter means unconscious. It's not conscious. There is no consciousness in matter. In the spiritual world, there is nothing called as matter. Why? Because each and every atom is conscious. Eternal. Sat Chit Ananda. Sat means eternal, Chit means consciousness, and Ananda means blissfulness. And why it is there? Because in the spiritual world, every atom also is serving Krishna. They are the living entities who take the shape of an atom to serve Krishna if they want to serve. Everything is a spirit in the spiritual world. Whatever you see in the spiritual world, they're all personalities. They are all personalities. Okay. In this material world, everything is not personality. In a spiritual world, everything, whatever you see, they are all personalities. Okay. So, false ego acts differently according to the modes with which it is influenced. So, when false ego is influenced by sattva guna, we act in mode of goodness. When false ego is influenced by rajoguna, we act in mode of passion. And when false ego is influenced by mode of tamoguna, we act in mode of ignorance. And that's how living entities get different bodies according to the influence of the three modes. Right? So false ego gets influenced by the modes in which we are, or the three modes. That is why you see, when a person, so false ego is basically a very dynamic element. It's a very dynamic characteristic of the spirit soul. Original ego is only one. There is only one layer, that I am part and parcel of Krishna and I have eternal relationship with Krishna. That is our real ego. But false ego is like dynamic. We can add layers to it. This material false ego, we can add layers to it. So first layer is that, suppose a person is born somewhere in India, so or in America, or in any country in the world. So as soon as a child is born, he does not know that he is an Indian or an American or whatever it is, right? But as soon as that child grows up, he comes under the influence of the people around him. So the influence of people around him is called association of the modes of material nature. Because all the people whom he is associating with, they are all driven by the three modes. So when a child grows up, he starts to associate with the three modes of material nature. And then what happens is he develops ego. So everyone around him will say that I'm an American or an Indian. So that spirit soul will start thinking that he's an Indian, although he's not an Indian. This India, America, China, whatever it is, these are all nonsensical things created by human beings. Krishna has not created India, America, Pakistan, China, Russia. No, they are all creation of humans, isn't it? So to think that I belong to such and such country is because of the false ego, which develops because of association with people whom a person lives with. Okay. So false ego is a dynamic element. So a person gradually starts developing that false ego, keeps growing. So first layer of ego develops, I am an American, I am an Indian. So because he thinks that he's an American or an Indian or a Chinese or whatever it is, because he starts thinking, he starts to identify himself as Indian, he hates people of other countries. Why? Because he has developed ego, false ego of an Indian. Right? So, and then he will develop ego that I am not only an Indian, I am a Maharashtrian, I am a Bihari, I am a Punjabi, I belong to Punjab state, I belong to Maharashtra state, I belong to Uttar Pradesh, I belong to Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, you see. So, another layer of false ego develops. First layer is I am an Indian, second layer I am a Maharashtrian, another false ego, right? Then another false ego, I belong to such and such family. So these layers keep adding up, and the dynamic false ego keeps growing and growing and growing. It becomes fat, thick. False ego keeps getting thicker and thicker and thicker. These layers keep getting added of false ego. And when these layers get added up very too much, when there are too many layers of false ego, a living entity starts acting like a non-living entity. And that's when a living entity gets the body of a plant or grass or herbs or creepers. The thicker the false ego, the lower the species we get. Okay. The thicker the false ego, the more gross a person becomes. And the grossest consciousness is consciousness of a plant or herbs or grass. So these species have the most gross consciousness because they behave almost like a non-living entity. They behave almost like matter. Not exactly like matter, but almost like matter. So the thicker the layer of false ego, the more gross a person becomes in consciousness. So you see here what is mentioned? Shanta ghor vimudhatvam itiva syad ahankrite. So the ahankrite means false ego. It gets influenced by the three modes. That is why when we hear the spiritual master, all the layers of false ego are crushed by his consciousness. What happens when we hear Guru, the spiritual master? The consciousness of the spiritual master enters into the disciple. Now, the consciousness of the spiritual master is not influenced by the three modes. He is beyond the three modes, and that is why when his consciousness enters into the disciple, then his consciousness, which is influenced by the three modes, gets crushed. And that's how purification of the disciple happens, by hearing from Guru. That is why Shravanam is so important. That is why hearing is so important. Why Shravanam? Why we have to hear from the spiritual master? Because false ego develops, false ego can be influenced by the three modes, and false ego can also get influenced by a pure devotee of Krishna. So this false ego gradually dwindles. The more we associate with our spiritual master, our guru, this false ego will gradually dwindle. It will go down. All the layers will be crushed. It will be destroyed. And when all the layers of false ego are destroyed, we come to our real ego. Who am I? What is my relationship with Krishna? All that automatically gets awakened within the heart. Right? So that is why we have to hear from the spiritual master. Only by associating with the spiritual master, a person can get over this dynamic element called false ego. And false ego can be crushed by the spiritual master, by his words. That is why a spiritual master, his words will be, it may not be very pleasing to the ears sometimes. It's the duty of the spiritual master to use sharp words, strong words, to cut this illusion of false ego. And that is why we have to surrender to the spiritual master. Simply hearing is not sufficient. We have to surrender to him. Right? Then we become pure devotees. We have to surrender to Guru. And then when we hear from him, then effect will be there. And that's how we get over this element called false ego and we come to our real ego. Once that real ego develops, we leave this body, we go back to Krishna in Golok Vrindavan by the mercy of the spiritual master. Because spiritual master is the mercy representative of Krishna, sent by Krishna in this material world to deliver the conditioned living entities who are influenced by false ego. Right? Spiritual master is the representative of Krishna who is sent by Krishna to deliver people from this dynamic element called false ego. So surrendering to Guru and hearing from him destroys this false ego and we come to our real ego. What is real ego? I am a part and parcel of Krishna, and what is my relationship with Krishna? All that awakening happens, and when we leave this body, we go back to Krishna in the spiritual world in Golok Vrindavan. So that is what we see here in these shlokas. We'll continue our discussion in the upcoming session because these are very important topics being spoken by Bhagwan Kapil to Mother Devahuti. So those who are new to the channel can subscribe. All of you can like, comment, share. We'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.